Nina Mehra in Hong Kong and Darcy Lampton in London have been keeping track on the mayhem.
Asian stocks tumbled on Thursday as persistent fears about a global credit squeeze sapped investor appetite for risky assets. Latest U.S. subprime worries were set off after broker Merrill Lynch flagged a possibility that the largest U.S. mortgage lender, Countrywide Financial, could face bankruptcy if liquidity worsens. We saw U.S. crude prices touching $96 a barrel, and it's hovering as we speak around that marker so far, and that was actually triggered by latest weekly fuel inventory numbers released overnight, showing a surprise fall in U.S. crude stock inventory. So that actually, Rukmini, has triggered supply concerns because we are entering into the winter season in the northern hemisphere when demand for heating fuel and oil tends to be at its highest level. We do have the big energy consumers such as the United States and China continuing to call on the oil cartel OPEC to hike output in order to ease those supply fears. So these are some of the factors that we're continuing to watch in Asia today. Back to you.
For joining us with all the Asian market action.
As promised, we can head to Hong Kong. Nina Mehra is the Reuters correspondent in their office there. Nina, let's start with Malaysia and the subject of gambling. And why would this be interesting for Britain?
Good morning, Manisha. Well, that's right. We've seen Malaysian casino operator Genting shares suspended today. And why would Britain be interested? Well, that's because Stanley Leisure, the big casino operator in the UK, has now accepted a $1.2 billion takeover offer by Genting. China is the world's second biggest consumer of oil after the US market, and as we continue to see this economy boom, the demand for energy assets are also continuing to rise. So analysts say that we could see a lot more acquisitions on the horizon from the big Chinese energy giants. Many come to evade China's one-child policy to take advantage of higher quality healthcare or earn Hong Kong residency rights for their babies. Critics say the influx from China has strained the territory's medical facilities. Giving birth in Hong Kong is one way for mainland mothers to get round China's one-child policy. But Hong Kong authorities are hoping the new regulations will limit the number of births to 30,000 a year, which they say is just manageable. Nina Mehra, Reuters, Hong Kong.
Now from the village of Darfen, host to thousands of artists reproducing replicas of masterpieces by the dozen.
Fancy snapping up a Van Gogh or Mona Lisa for a mere $30 a piece? Head to the art village of Darfen in southern China, where thousands of artists churn out replicas of masterpieces by the dozen. China's fast-growing economy is also helping to boost its art market. As we see here in the art village of Darfen, the streets are lined with shops filled to the brim with replicas such as this. These are made by thousands of young Chinese artists hoping to cash in on China's art boom. A paper coffin might be the perfect send-off for those wishing to leave a greener legacy. That's the message from organizers of a new Hong Kong exhibition, which features paper caskets of all shapes and sizes. Elderly visitors flock to see the exhibits, seen as eco-friendly alternatives to the traditional wooden versions. Organizers say a paper coffin could be a fitting exit, especially for those who wish to keep their carbon imprint down to the very minimum.
And finally, more than one kind of hurdle is cleared at an equestrian competition in Hong Kong, as Reuters' Nina Mehra finds out.
Hong Kong hosted a largely trouble-free three-day international equestrian competition despite summer heat and a tropical storm. The Good Luck Beijing Hong Kong SAR 10th Anniversary Cup served as a test event in the run-up to the 2008 Equestrian Olympics, which will be held in the former British colony. The Venetian Macau is the most ambitious throw of the dice yet in a $24 billion effort to attract high rollers from mainland China and elsewhere. One could easily think I'm standing on St. Mark's Square in Venice, but in fact I'm standing on St. Mark's Square inside the Venetian Macau. This is the largest integrated resort in Asia. The question is, are they going to get enough punters to fill the 3,000 guest rooms and to try their luck gambling on their casino floor, which is the largest in the world? Modest efforts so far have seen the territory accumulate more than it can tackle. As is the case in mainland China, polluted Hong Kong is struggling to cope with increasing pressures on its environment. So cost-effective and environmentally friendly technologies, such as this methane gas recovery plant, is seen as one way to tackle the issue. The contemporary Chinese art market is no longer as undervalued as it used to be, but demand for this type of art is insatiable, with prices for top artists continuing to hit new records. Nina Mehra, Reuters, Hong Kong.